Hello, everyone. Just wanted to take a second while I'm working on episode 6 of The Reckoning. Just want to talk about anything, but primarily what I wanted to talk about was a few key things. If you have a story, if you're working on anything, something that you need to get out, just anything out there, you don't have the budget, find a way. If you have to do it yourself, if you need help from someone, anything. You don't have the budget. I don't have the budget. Just do it. Give it a try. If you need to write it down, need to write the story down. You need to write the script down. Some way, somehow, just do it. Forget about budget. Forget about anybody helping you at the moment. Just try to write something down and do it. Uh, that's one of the things that I was. I wouldn't say I was worried about, but I had an idea and I just said, I'm just going to do it myself. And I wrote it myself. And here we are. Now, I shouldn't say here we are. I should say more that I did try to reach out to some people, and there came occasions where, yeah, maybe we can collaborate, maybe we can do it. But the problem is that it came to a point where I have to balance work and I have to balance life and I have to balance time. Three different things: work, life, time. So I only had about 4 hours of my day to work on things. So 4 hours of my day was in the morning from 12 a.m. to about 3 to 4 a.m. It's very difficult to find somebody that's going to help you around that time. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to give it a try. See how maybe frustrating it is. See how happy I'll be with it, with the end result, and just see how much of a challenge it would be. And I have to say, it's a very big challenge. But with that said, the most important thing is just do it. You have to understand that nobody's going to care. The only person that can care is you. This is your work. This is your baby. This is what you want to do. The only person that's going to care is you. And once you are done, set, and forget about it. So you don't want to forget about it as to like just shelve it. You want to set and forget it as in once you've published what you've made, just set and forget it. You're the only person that cares for this. You're the only person that's gonna bother with things. And yeah, there comes a point where people are gonna help you out and they're gonna like what you did, they're gonna dislike what you did. It all depends on you. It all depends your takeaway from it. So the idea is to just do it. Um, for me, was mostly I wanted to make The Reckoning a live action, but again, I didn't have the time. At the time that I wrote The Reckoning, it was only my wife and I. And then once I finished the episodes, or I should say, once I finished writing the episodes, it was my wife and I, and then a kid. So now it's more a dedication of dad time or in dedication of family time. So it came to a point where I had to balance a series of not only work and family, but also work, family, but family as in addition to the family. So those are things that came, I guess, when the way they say rolling with the punches. So it's mostly like a thing that you have to deal with challenges, if you will. But they were a welcome challenge. Came to a point where I couldn't work on the reckoning for a week. Came to a point where I hated the way it looked. Uh, the drawings were bad, and I still feel that they're bad. And you know what? Like I said, it doesn't matter. No one cares. Only I care. And I just said I want to put something out there. I want to have my story out there because I took time to write it down and I want to do it. And I'm having fun while doing it. Are there challenges? Yeah, but like I said, the challenges are welcome. The biggest surprise for The Reckoning is how I started developing other stories in adjacent to The Reckoning. I thought that I was only going to be uh, covering The Reckoning, but I started finding other ideas with the Calendar Man uh, story. The I wanted to make this. I'm a big fan of Tommy Boy, and I wanted to make this little animation about the 30th anniversary of Tommy Boy. But I also had the idea of, oh, I shouldn't say the idea. It was more of a thought of where does Batman get his breaks? I always had that thought, and I never knew how I can make a story out of that. And then came about that, hey, it's the 30th anniversary of Tommy Boy, and I said, oh, what if Bruce Wayne goes to uh, the Callahan break auto brake parts, and that's where he orders his brakes. And I thought that was a comedic take on it, and I went from there. So there's been things that I've written here and there, and they've interfered with the reckoning. So I haven't had time to complete the drawings and the graphic animated style that I want for the reckoning. So yes, there's those those are those biggest surprise. There's also story changes that come about as you develop some things and some frames that that even though you have them on the storyboard, you say to yourself, "Oh, wait, maybe I want to make it look like this instead of what I had," and that comes about as more of a better stylistic look. Uh, Sometimes you see something after you've already done it on, I guess, a different production or a different movie or a western of some kind, and you said, "Oh, maybe I could have done the horse like that." But you know what? I'm okay with what I have. Situations like that when you feel like you want to improvise or improve something better than what you had, but it comes to a point where you're saying to yourself, "Well, am I stealing this idea from something that's already been done?" So I wanted to avoid that, and now I'm making this, making his backpack belt not as thick. It's a little hard to talk and draw at the same time because this is the first time I'm doing something like this. Usually, if I am doing a video and talking, I've already done the drawing and I'm speaking over a time lapse, so it's a little bit more difficult trying to focus and trying to make not make it as boring. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, let's make the bell. So we have the bell here. Let's just make it so that it's over here. So I'm at the moment I'm fixing some drawings that I had from maybe a few months ago, and this is generally because again I have to balance life, and I have to work around what I have. Let's see what we got here. So let's try to make it. So let's try to make it that the belt And I'm not too worried about this because here, this particular line here, this is where I want the framing to be. So this frame is 1920 by 1080. So this framing right here is 1920 by 1080. So that's where I want my video to be. That's how big I want the framing to be, and from whatever this other size is where I may use a portion of the animation to say, okay, maybe I can do a pan, or maybe I can do a tilt of some kind, just to. I wouldn't call this area or this area or this area or this area garbage, but in a way you say, okay, this is my needed but garbage area in case I don't use it. So I want to make sure that my framing is within here, but if needed, I can use something here and there. I'm not sure if that's how people do it, but that's how I do it. So again, I'm not too worried about that, but I'll leave it as that. Let me go back to black so I can just come here and bring it. It's too big, so let's bring it down. So. All right, let's continue. Um, my biggest setback is my biggest setback. I would say my biggest setback is trying to give myself time to balance life, or I wouldn't say time to balance life. I would say more like giving myself a timeline. That was a big mistake. Give myself timeline was a humongous mistake because the first time that I did the first episode of The Reckoning, I said, okay, I want to finish the outline, at least the outline drawings, within the month. And then I want to make sure that I have the animation within 2 weeks. The reason for that is because I'm pretty fast. I'm pretty fast at certain things, but when it comes to other things, I'm not so fast at. But I started noticing that it was wearing me down. It worn me down like crazy. I didn't have time for I didn't have time to I didn't have time for my wife. I didn't have time for my kid. I said, I can't do this. I have to make time for just about things that are just as important as the story, which is my family. So that was a big. I wouldn't say it was a big no no. It was a big setback. So I have to figure out. I have to eliminate. I had to eliminate. How do you say? Uh, Deadlines. Why did I give myself a deadline? I've always I've always found challenges with deadlines, and I always made some big. Uh, I would just say I found success with deadlines because it gave me. I've always found good things with challenges, but again, they were unnecessary because one, I'm not getting paid to do any of this. I'm doing this because I want to do it. Two, I just want to do it and set and forget it and understand and accept that no one cares but you. So there was really no reason for me to be doing any deadlines or giving myself a timeline to finish. And I would say that last, trying my best to not let this video be too long because I've tried it twice already, and twice has been so long is because I keep talking because I feel like it's not enough. Is that the biggest takeaway or at least your biggest takeaway, is to just do it. You have something, you want to cook something up, just do it. Don't wait, just do it. That will conclude this video, and I hope that you took something from it, and that should be it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.